So we found out on DevStream 183 how Nyx is getting a rework, what it looks like, and there is now a dev workshop up online showing exactly what all of these changes are in more detail. So let's just dive into the changes to Nyx, our Queen of Chaos, Mistress of Mayhem, and of course, Confusion. Now, with her update, Digitextremes is leaning hard into her identity as a battlefield manipulator, turning enemies against each other. Her new passive is basically an amplified critical chance. Nyx's new passive is all about rewarding chaos on the battlefield. If there are 5 or more confused enemies in her affinity range, either from radiation procs or from her mind control targets, Nyx will gain a whopping 200% crit chance on her primary and secondary weapons. Expect a lot of red crits on certain weapons, especially with arcanes. It can bump it even more with this passive. Hell, throw in Corvex's subsume ability for more radiation and more chaos, and you're going to have a constant 5 amount of enemies nearby you, not mentioning her chaos ability will do that anyway. There is a huge incentive to maximize the spread of her confusion based abilities to give you that amplified crit chance, turning her from a puppet master into a high damage, I guess, weapons platform of sorts. Or imagine pairing this with maybe a critical heavy damage weapon like the Kuva Nukor, who kind of has a bad crit chance but really good crit multiplier. It could be really good. Now, her first ability, Mind Control. This is a single target ability that turns enemies into a puppet for your Nyx that will fight beside you. Now, her Mind Control target's attacks will inflict guaranteed radiation procs, spreading more chaos, so again, more synergy, more crit chance. Your puppet can't be stunned, can't be staggered or frozen. It will always be on a bit of a rampage. It will also attack the enemies that you yourself are aiming at, which will give you direct control over where you will spread that chaos. Nyx gets a new HUD element on the bottom right of her screen for mind control targets that will track the target's bonus damage, how much duration it has left, how much damage it has absorbed, which is going to, I guess, tell you how much damage it's going to deal, and you'll see their damage numbers as well. Mind control's duration won't start also counting down until the initial 4-second absorb window has passed. Now, the targets also glow like summoning targets, making them easier for you to spot so that you're not running around shooting a target trying to figure out why the hell is this the guy not dying when in fact you've got him bloody mind controlled. But you would never do that, right? You would never not notice that, right? Right? You can also easily switch mind control targets without having to end the cast of the first enemy that was mind controlled. Now, her second ability, her Psychic Bolts. This is basically her defensive strip powerhouse ability, where she will cast 3 bolts that will remove 100% of armor, or it used to anyway, but now Nyx herself will steal a share of the spoils. Nyx can now steal armor, steal shield, and steal enemy overguard as well, which is bloody huge. She will gain defensive benefits for 20 seconds based on whatever her Psychic Bolts actually strips. So 25 armor per target, capping up to a maximum of 1000 armor, 75 shield per target, capping up to 1200 overshields, 500 overguard per target, capping at 7500, and basically killing an enemy affected by her Psychic Bolts will release 2 additional bolts to new targets, basically keeping them bouncing from one target to another, and constantly, I guess, stealing some of their defenses for your Nyx as well. Now, power strength mods, of course, are going to, I think, increase the amount of defenses that you strip off of enemies, so I guess you can become tankier if you've got more power strength. Now, her pacifying bolts augment will now apply 1 stack of radiation on enemies as well, adding even more confusion to her already, I guess, confused radiation heavy toolkit. Now, her third ability, or Chaos, didn't exactly get a huge amount of changes. They didn't need to fix something that wasn't broken, but they did make it slightly better. Instead of simply causing confusion, Chaos will now apply 10 stacks of radiation for its duration. Enemies will deal 100% more damage to each other, doubling the destructive potential that those enemies had. Radiation Archon shards might be worth a revisit with this on Nyx. I don't know how they're going to work off enemies that might be affected by radiation and the fact that it's an ability that's affecting them, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Also, all of her abilities more or less spread radiation now, which is one element that's already going to be on enemies for condition overload or gun condition overload. Now, her fourth ability, Absorb. Absorb has undergone a bit of a radical overhaul to make it mesh better with Nyx's chaos or radiation theme. Instead of it being a channeled ability now, Absorb will last 5 seconds, which will scale with duration mods, and it will capture all incoming damage, including damage dealt by your confused enemies. And remember, confused enemies deal increased damage, so there's synergy there. And when the timer of absorb ends, the stored damage will explode outwards. For every 5,000 damage that you absorb, Nyx will gain 1 second of invulnerability up to a cap. Once that, I guess, absorb ends, you will be invulnerable for a few seconds. Now, Nyx can now fly up and down when she's inside her absorb bubble for more maneuverability, and have also simplified absorb's energy costs. The pair damage enemy drain is now gone completely, making it more straightforward. The damage Nyx can deal is now visible in her ability stats. But don't worry, I know a lot of people during the dev stream last night were complaining, thinking Assimilate was now ruined, but it isn't. Her Assimilate augment will still work as it did before. It's still the same. It is an infinite duration ability, and its energy drain has been increased to 6.5 energy per second to balance out the removal of that energy per 1000 damage absorbed. So this means you won't lose big chunks of energy from damage taken, and instead you will have a steady energy drain, making it a better ability overall. Now, her new kit looks way more synergistic. Chaos Radiation amplified a lot of affected enemies to each other. They'll also deal more damage to her absorb. Chaos affected enemies increase her critical output. Mind control enemies look more powerful, but again, the AI on those enemies tends to be a little bit wonky, so we're gonna have to see if that's still going to be a bit of an issue. Her absorb did get an overhaul, but if you ran an Assimilate build with the augment, then it still works the same, but you will have a better energy economy while also giving you, I guess, a window of invulnerability at the end of that cast. Once that explosion goes off, you're going to be invulnerable for a few seconds, maybe long enough to get your shields back up if you, I guess, are shield gating. So her rework isn't as light as what Trinity's upcoming one is, because it is quite light, even though it is an improvement on the Trinity we have right now. Nyx's is much better in my eyes. She is, like I said, one of the first frames I used to get myself through the star chart. I really used to enjoy using her chaos ability back when, I guess, crowd control was way more, I guess, required than it is right now. Now you can just go around guns blazing, nuking entire rooms. Now, let me know in the comment section below what you think of Nyx's upcoming rework. Whether you enjoy it or not, share your thoughts or even your concerns. By all means, go for it. If this video has helped you in any way, shape or form, then by all means hit that like button if you enjoyed it, or don't if you didn't. Have a great day, have a great weekend, and as always, thanks for watching.